Hey, everybody. Good morning. I actually saw the temperature was expected to get colder. And it has, which the Antarctic levels of chill and ice and relentless snow here, it's now -3.
Yeah,
where we are.
I had left my phone in my car like for the first hour of the show, so I'm like during the break I'll go out and get it. Didn't put my jacket on. I was outside for 10 seconds and I'm still sitting here cold. That was like 6 minutes ago.
It was cold down at the arena last night, too. A lot of snow. I guess Brian Mazurowski said tough traffic last night getting out of the arena.
Probably because everyone's trying to park right around the arena.
Right.
Like the old, 5-minute walk, free parking, not the best idea probably.
Paul's got his own space down there, right next to the Zamboni. They let him pull right in next.
Next to the arena.
Yep.
Or it's valet, right, Paul?
Right.
I stole Rob Ray's space, so I parked next to the Zamboni. But, hey, I saw my car last night on the way home go under 0 to -1 for the first time ever. I've never seen my car go in the minuses. I still have not seen my phone. I'm looking at it now. It's 0. I have not seen my phone hit minuses yet. It may still by the time we're done with our conversation. But, yeah, my car. You know what? Speaking of 0, I don't know why. I kind of like that Josh Allen calls Coleman 0.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
By the
that
number?
nickname.
The number digit?
And the Sabres call Jack Quinn 2s.
Okay.
Which I've been around hockey a long time, and I've never heard like anybody who has a double number like that called 2s or 3s or 4s or anything like that. But yes, Jack Quinn is 2s.
No, the locker room nicknames for hockey are usually just you add a Y to the last name.
It would have been
somewhere
Quinny.
along the way.
Yeah,
Quinny. Yeah.
But
Q,
I like
Q.
I like 2s. I like 2s much better.
Yeah, football they do numbers a lot. Like a lot of the Bills call Josh 17 all the time. It's very.
That's why I was glad they
football.
called me Bone instead of Hammy or something.
Yeah, what was your
like
number,
that,
Paul?
So. 17.
7. Oh,
1-7.
Look at you, 17.
Yeah. I actually have a Bills number 17. It's interesting. It has nothing to do with Josh Allen. It's actually the jersey that has the patch on when Terrell Owens was around, the 50.
Oh, yeah.
When I went into this Iowa State Hall of Fame, my teammates who were there knew I, of course, was from Buffalo. So they bought me a Bills jersey and put number 17 on it. Well, there wasn't even a Bills 17 at the time. Josh Allen was probably in high school back then. So I have a Bills jersey that says 17 and says Bone on the back.
Bone. I was waiting for what the nameplate said.
So if I ever wore that around town, people would say, which I wouldn't do, being in the media, I don't wear Bills and Sabres gear. But
one of these times, just stroll into the new stadium press
can you
box.
imagine?
Just stroll in with the Bone jersey.
Walk in with a number 17 jersey on that says Bone on the back.
I love it. Well, Paul, it's a crazy time, and a lot of things are happening that are unexpected, including the Sabres being an absolute force in the NHL. Another win last night. We'll get to the bigger picture stuff, but 4-1, they beat the Kings. They ultimately get it done. Alex Tuch, a hat trick. And their record, once they get a lead, first period and second period, they sometimes make it interesting, but, man, they are just like – I remember, Paul, was it the 2009-2010 team? One of those years, maybe the year they win the division with Tyler Myers' rookie season.
The year Miller won the Vezina.
Miller's Vezina year. They were also, like, unbeatable once they got a lead after two periods, and this team has that same kind of record going through, too.
Their formula has been pretty consistent recently. Play bad second periods and then come out and lock it down in the third. They did it again yesterday. It wasn't the worst second period I've ever seen. It wasn't great either. And they come out in the third, lock the Kings down. I had 2 notes on my notepad for the third period. It was just one of those periods where it was just like very boring, which is that's exactly what Lindy Ruff would want. The media has no notes to write down. It's just a very, good third period. If you don't have a play, get it down below the goal line and go forecheck. Stop going side to side. That's what Lindy Ruff was talking about in the second period. Too much side to side. He goes, we got too cute in the second period. Nobody wanted to shoot. He said we fixed that in the third period, once they came in. And here they are 23-1. The French Connection never did that. The 1999 Stanley Cup Finals team never did that. Briere, Drury, Miller, Vanek, they never did that. No Buffalo Sabre team has ever gone on a run of 23-1. No goaltender, Hasek, Miller, Barrasso, has ever won 10 games in a row until Alex Lyon. And actually, Dom was in the house last night, and there's a
His
picture.
birthday, right?
Yeah, there's a picture with Alex Lyon, and Alex Lyon afterwards said, "Let's be honest here." Where he goes, "I grew up, emulating Dominic Hasek and Ryan Miller." And he goes, "Those are the guys I used to watch and love play." He goes, "I am not those guys." He goes, "Let's get that out of the way right now." He goes, "I may have won 10 in a row, but I am not those guys." But he's humble about it. But, yeah, the Sabres are doing things that no other Sabre team have ever done.
He's very calm in the net, Paul. Like, maybe much more even, I would say, than the other two guys who are more, I think, using their athleticism. Like, do you see that from Lyon? That, like, I never see him really look all that panicky, and especially now in this 10-game stretch that he's had.
Yeah, you look at the saves he makes, for the most part, you're not going to be on SportsCenter, as the play of the night or anything like that. That's why I used to kid Marty about all the time, because Marty would be out in the corner, he'd give the puck away, and then he'd come diving back in the crease, and he'd be in midair with the stick all the way out, and the puck would hit the shaft of the stick. He'd make the save, and he'd wind up on SportsCenter. He had like 2 of those that you would see. It was because I was giving him a hard time. I go, "Well, Marty, the reason you're on SportsCenter is because you were so far out of position that you had to go flying back into the net, and you make this great save." Well, that's the thing. Lyon doesn't have to do that because of exactly what you're talking about. Very calm in there, and you really don't see him out of the net all that much playing the puck. His communication is very good with his defensemen. He's always communicating. I can hear him up in the press box, if it's fairly quiet. So that's a lot of his success.
Paul Hamilton on the Western Hotline joining us on the Sabres. Paul, maybe the biggest development of the day was not just the Sabres win, but it was Alex Tuch in postgame when asked about what it's like, expecting to win these days. And he said, we don't want to just squeak in. We're going for the cup. And that's a team leader that put up a hat trick last night, and then asked about like how it is in there. I had thought to ask you today and these last couple days, what should we look at as their ceiling? And to hear those words from him, like that's pretty powerful. And I feel like a lot of Sabres fans hearing those might as well just have the same thought.
Well, during the game, first intermission, I was talking with Brian, and I had said even before I heard those comments that, and I don't know Jarmo Kekalainen all that well, but I look at how bold he was in Columbus, and quite honestly, I would be shocked if Kekalainen traded Tuch, no matter what Tuch's decision is.
Yeah, same.
I would really be surprised. Let's say, for example, Tuch has told Kekalainen by the trade deadline, "All right, then that's it. I'm just not staying," or whatever. I'm going to go on. He would still be, to me, a rental. He'd be a Sabre rental. There's no way I would take him off this team with what this team is trying to accomplish here this year. He's such a big part of it. If that were to be his decision, I would just say, okay, we're keeping you until the end of the season, and then if you get nothing for him, you get nothing for him. They're not in a position right now where they need draft picks or whatever Alex Tuch would bring you, and he would bring you a lot, I think. But it would, in a rental type situation, if you would trade him, the Sabres don't need that. They need Alex Tuch as far as, whatever they're trying to accomplish for this season. So I would just say I would be surprised, no matter what the decision is, if he were traded.
Well,
really, the teams you would be talking to in a situation like that would be the teams you might be competing with. Which, how does that make sense, right? Like, who's calling you about Alex Tuch? Oh, the Red Wings are on the phone. Like, wait a minute. Like, that should tell you immediately, like, is this a good idea? The team that I'm next to in the standings wants to call about a guy that is going to score goals,
Well, it would
penalty
be a
kill.
Western Conference team, I'm sure, if that's what that's what you were to do. But I just don't see what the point of it would be to do that. I think it would upset the team also if you were to do that. It's just like, live with it. Even if Alex Tuck said no, you still have time to convince him otherwise. You got till July 1st, to convince him otherwise, even if at this point he were to say no. And I keep saying that I don't want somebody to tune in right now and think Alex Tucker says no. He has not said that. I'm just saying if that's what he has done, I don't trade him no matter what he says.
Well, I also think, Paul, like the side effect of being good again, if they are good, if they are able to make the playoffs, win a round, they can kind of shed maybe some of the I would never go play there that's like a wasteland, and they don't have to be as desperate to sign really anybody. So Kekalainen gets a little bit more, freedom or a little bit of breathing room in contract negotiations. The other side of this, Paul, is here's the tough question. What do they need? Let's talk about adding instead. If Jarmo has the same belief that Alex Tuck does, which is, if I'm going to get in, I'm going to try and win this thing, I might have a chance to do it. What do they need?
Top six depth. It's still, when their top six get injured, it's a tough road. They are getting away. They didn't get away with losing Norris before. They are getting away without him right now. I think you can use defenseman depth. I mean, they already went and made a trade to help their depth in Rochester on defense, because a couple of Amerks are up here right now. And I think Metsa's going to be here for a while, their captain. So they kind of flipped their depth down in Rochester, traded a forward that probably is never going to make the NHL to get a veteran defenseman down there. So I think they could use some depth on their defense. So, but if they could find themselves a top six forward that they could slide into their, I may even say top nine, that they could slide in there. A guy who could, because it doesn't sound great for Greenway right now. He's one of the best penalty killers in the National Hockey League. Now Benson's doing a nice job in his place, but he's not. He doesn't have the reach and he doesn't do what Greenway does. But maybe find somebody, and maybe find somebody who can win draws. When you're in the playoffs, that matters. And if you got to dress somebody that is 60% in draws or 58% in draws, it might be an idea.
The other thing I thought about, Paul, is like a power play specialist for this team. I don't know, though, that they would think one person could save. Like, it's the only element of their team that really doesn't work. And would they think, hey, there's a guy out there available that could help us? Would that be enough to kind of save it?
And I was trying to ask Lindy yesterday, and he was keeps swatting me down. I said, once Kesselring plays like a month in a row and is comfortable and looks like Kesselring again and everything, I said, is he an option on your power play? And he goes, let's just take this one day at a time. Let's get him going and everything. And I said, yeah, but I said, even in next year, I said, is he a guy that ever would be an option on your power play? He says, Paul, I'm not talking about next year. And then he comes into because Samuelson wound up in the power play late in the game yesterday because they were protecting the lead. And he looks at me before he even starts. He goes, hey, you almost got Kesselring in the power play tonight. I said, well, I did see Samuelson. He goes, that's what I'm saying. And he was giving me a hard time about that. But, so I don't know if he thinks of Kesselring in the future as a power play guy or not.
All right.
The other thing, Paul, is the standings around them. Not everybody keeps winning. Florida lost last night, so your gap between the non-playoff teams and where you are is 8 points now. But, man, I looked up last night while the first period was going on just to see like what was the score of the Montreal-Colorado game. They're playing Colorado, so you might have had good hopes going in there. And then what's the score of the Boston game? And while the Sabres were up 2, both Montreal and Boston were up 2. Like, that's maybe on top of this as impressive. The fact that they've been able to climb the standings while everybody around them has continued to win.
If you look at like the last 10 games for every team in a playoff spot in the East,
it's insane.
It's 8-1-1, 6-2-2, 7-2-1, 7-1-2, 6-2-2. 8-1-1 is Boston. Like, everybody is hot of these teams. And Colorado, meanwhile, they're having this amazing season. Colorado cannot beat the Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
Their record against the Atlantic, they lose to everybody.
Except Buffalo.
They play Detroit next, and hopefully they get a win.
It's interesting. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys. I looked this up before last night's action. So the Sabres were 19-3-1. And this is an anomaly I've never seen before. And when you looked up that time period, which was from December 9th on, the Tampa Bay Lightning, number 1, the Buffalo Sabres, number 2, in both goals against and goals for. I've never seen that. Even when a team's hot, that Tampa Bay and Buffalo are 1-2 in both categories, both goals against and goals for. And if you noticed, the Sabres have climbed up the overall ladder in goals for also. They're right near the top in the NHL right now.
Perhaps most amazing is how few of these wins and points gained are in overtime.
Right? They win in regulation.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this entire streak, you just said like they are 23-1. They only have 3 of those wins that came in overtime or shootout.
And I proved last night why I don't make predictions, because I made a prediction, and it didn't even come close to coming true.
What was it?
With the Kings having 13 loser points, which leads the league, I said, we're probably going to overtime tonight.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Montreal next, then Florida, Tampa, Pittsburgh, and then the break, Paul. So we're having a good time, and we know you are too. So thanks for joining us. We'll talk next week.
All right. Take care, guys.
Paul Hamilton. His appearance brought to you by Raylax Honda. Raylax, we got this.
It's fun.